TV.
Beg Ibori to withdraw lawsuit against the UK. Federal government writes to Urhobo Progress Union. Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location. This is DJM TV Daily News Update, where we give you news happening from all around the world. This is your first time of seeing any of our video. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Now let's take you straight up to the main news. The Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Abubakar Malami, has written a letter on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria to the Urhobo Progress Union to beg the former governor of Delta State, Chief James Onanefe Ibori, to withdraw his lawsuit against the UK on the planned repatriation of the £4.2 million looted from the Delta State Treasury that was linked to him, the former governor of the state. The Urhobo Progress Union, led by Engineer Joseph Omene, had earlier written to the government to ask them to use the £4.2 million to fix some very urgent projects in Delta State, owing to the fact that this money came from Delta State. But the federal government had earlier planned to use the £4.2 million to fix two major roads in the country with no link at all whatsoever to Delta State as a whole. Presently, the federal government has called on the Urhobo Progress Union to intervene in the matter, and they have said that if the Urhobo Progress Union can, talk to the former governor of Delta State to withdraw the lawsuit that he has, placed against the UK on the planned repatriation of the £4.2 million, then all the money that will be repatriated will be used to implement projects in the state so as to bring about greater infrastructural development in Delta State. In a letter by the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, titled Recommendation for the Retrieval of Delta State Stolen Funds and Request for the Review of Projects to be Executed with the Retrieved Funds, the Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Justice Reform and International Relations, Juliet Ibekaku Wangu, said, I am directed to inform you that the HAGF is in receipt of your letter dated 23rd of March 2021 with regards to the above subject. The HAGF appreciates your concerns and welcomes the interest of UPU in the returned assets. The HAGF wishes to inform that it does not have the authority to approve projects for the application of returned assets. These decisions are taken at the Federal Executive Council after in-depth deliberations. The HAGF's mandate is to implement the decisions of the Council. I am also directed to inform further that the decision of the Council is also guided by the bilateral negotiations between Nigeria and the country from which the asset will be returned. Accordingly, Nigeria and the government of the United Kingdom or any other country for that matter must agree on a specific project in a transparent and accountable manner before a project is approved. However, the HAGF has directed that I inform you that the stumbling block in the negotiating the return of assets linked to Ibori to Nigeria is the ongoing litigation by Mr. James Ibori against the government of the United Kingdom in the confiscation hearing in London. It is advisable that you approach Mr. James Ibori to advise him to withdraw his pleas against the confiscation and repatriation of the assets linked to him, his family, and associates back in Nigeria. This is the only way to provide an enabling environment for negotiation of the use of the identified assets for Delta State. In this letter, it was noted that Chief James Onanefe Ibori, the former governor of Delta State, had filed an appeal to the United Kingdom about the funds, the monies that were linked to him and his relatives that were confiscated by the United Kingdom. Now, this appeal that he has filed is to ensure that the money is returned to him and not to the federal government as earlier agreed by the United Kingdom and Nigeria. It will be recalled that in 2012, Chief James Onanefe Ibori was charged and convicted of corruption and he was jailed in the United Kingdom, although he only served 4 out of the 13-year jail term that he bagged. And the United Kingdom's government has said that they want to return the £4.2 million loot, which is equivalent to about 2.4 billion naira, according to current exchange rates. When the issue of the of repatriating the stolen funds or loot, as it's being called, when the issue came up, we brought you a report that the federal government was thinking of embarking on several projects, and how several persons in Nigeria said Delta State did not deserve the money. They do not deserve that the money be returned to them or be used for any infrastructural development in the state, because according to such persons, Delta State rather celebrated Chief James Onanefe Ibori despite the billions of naira that he stole from the state's treasury. Now, others were of the school of thought that the money came from Delta State. Fine, it was stolen by a former governor, but it wouldn't make sense to carry the money from a particular state and take it to another state altogether to develop that state, whilst the original owner of the money is really suffering under development. Now, the previous school of thought said when James Ibori was looting the state, people from the state were praising him. In fact, when he was convicted and jailed, he was being celebrated. When he was released, he was received as a hero back to Delta State. So Delta State really did not need the money. But on the 23rd of March, the Urhobo Progress Union actually wrote to the federal government telling them that these monies, when returned back to Nigeria, should be used for projects in Delta State, so as to help the state alleviate it from poverty, and if possible create jobs for the teeming youth that are looking for where to work. So Urhobo Progress Union has written to them, and at first they didn't want to pay attention to the union whatsoever. They were already negotiating on how they were going to fix the Abuja Kaduna highway, the Apapa highway, and some other roads. They said they were going to fix with the money. But now the issue is Chief James Ibori has filed an appeal to the United Kingdom, and this is actually holding back the money from being repatriated to Nigeria. Now the federal government needs the money, and the only way the money can be returned to Nigeria is if Chief James Ibori withdraws his lawsuit against the United Kingdoms. Now the federal government has nowhere else to turn to but back to the same union that they refused to listen to earlier. Now they are telling them, beg Ibori for us, let him withdraw his appeal, and we will consider your request of using the money to cite projects in Delta State. Well, the Urhobo Progress Union is yet to reply to this letter by the federal government, but so many persons are saying no, they should not fall for the trap of the federal government. That probably these monies, when repatriated, will be used to pay ransom to these unknown gunmen and bandits, and at the end of the day, the money will neither come to the state, the whole state, or even the country. It will not be used for anything profitable. So they should allow Chief James Ibori to go ahead with his law case, and if he wins, fine, he collects his money and goes his way. But if he doesn't win, fine, the money is returned. But the Yoruba Progress Union should not step in to the issue. Well, I don't know what you think about this news. Please drop your comment in the comment section. What do you think about it? Should the Yoruba Progress Union prevail on Chief James Ibori to withdraw his appeal case from the court, or should they just allow him do what he wants to do? Drop your comment in the comment section and rest assured that we'll go through them. This is where we'll come to the end of this edition of DJM TV Daily News Update. Thank you so much for viewing. Do not forget to like and to share this video. Also follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and even on TikTok. We're there. Check out our website at www.djmtv.news. Until we'll come your way again with another edition of DJM TV Daily News Update, I remain your host, Lawo Favor.
DJM TV. DJM TV.
Fulani people don't say no, they don't like us.
Welcome to DJM TV.
DJM TV. DJM TV. DJM TV. DJM TV.
Some of the delegates and ask the question.
DJM TV. DJM TV. DJM TV. DJM TV.